Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 30 of Direwolf20's OmniFactory series, where I'm having a fun time making RAM. So I need a diamond lens to make RAM. So let's teach that at the moment. Yeah, you need to be in this mode, don't you? Yeah, but not with the diamond lens, just the wafer. That'll give me my RAM. Downstairs, little rearranging of stuff. 100% organically growing base. What are you gonna do? So I've got the clear lens, the glass lens, and I've got the diamond lens going on. So, oh, guess what? Somebody figured out he has work to do. Good job. I noticed that I needed to teach that auto crafting because everything was going fine with this until it wasn't. And it wasn't as a result of the fact that we needed more RAM. And we didn't have any, and we didn't know how to craft it, so the system got all broken-y, and now it's back to work, so that's cool. So I bet there's a lot of craftings in progress at the moment. So yeah, you're making some refined circuits, you're making some of those, that's cool. You're making all kinds of good stuff. Nice. Cool. Getting everybody back in stock the way it should be. I like it. Nice. Getting those refined circuits made. Everything else should be coming to fruition soon. So, today's episode, really good question. What am I going to do today? I have no idea. First, tier 4 circuit. That's going to be fun times. Carbon fibers come from palladium, early rutile, navigating petrochem, oil drilling rig. A lot of stuff requires a distillation tower, which I've still yet to make, and I probably should. Only because it seems to want to. Basic air collection. Hey, I got a basic air collector on, didn't I? Did I get that, or did I get the medium tier air collector? I got the advanced air collector. There you go. Basic air collector. I should probably make one of these. We need another, did we have zinc foil, steel plates, LV electric pumps? Those are a hassle to make too. LV machine hull. See, a lot of the LV stuff I skipped the auto crafting on, so everything's manual craft, and it's a big womp. But what are you gonna do? I'll probably knock that out at some point. So I feel like a distillation tower would be cool, and I kind of want to put it outside. Does that sound neat? Like, I don't know how big they are. Like, how big is a distillation tower? Basic distillery, distillation tower. So that looks pretty big. That's like an outside kind of thing, right? I think the tallness is variable, but like if we want it to be cool, we need it to be tall, right? We can take a look at the early game quest for distillation tower. With tier 3 circuits, yada yada. It's highly flexible, anywhere from 2 blocks to 15 high. The way it works is at each level of the tower, after the first will output an additional fluid output. Any fluid outputs that there are not room for are lost. We need it right now to break biomass feedstock into ethanol and water. It only has 2 outputs, so a 3 high distillation tower is just fine, which is what the materials that the quest asks you to build are. However, if you're going to break down anything where you need more than the first 2 fluid outputs, like oil, make sure to increase the height of your tower to accommodate all the outputs you want to keep. Also, check the voltage requirements of the recipes, as many distillation tower recipes need higher voltages than MV. You can swap out your energy input for a higher tier 1 when the time comes. Cool. So that guy is just describing how to make it. So let's take a look. So if we wanted to get into oil, right, which might be nice because, you know, fuel. Crude oil, I guess that's not going to be the right kind of oil. Raw oil bucket, light oil bucket, oil bucket. Can oil be the thing that we distillation tower? Yeah, nice. Sulfuric light fuel, sulfuric naphtha, sulfuric gas. I assume that's what we're going to be getting into at some point, but I have no idea. So I feel like for the sake of quest progress, we should knock out the distillation tower today so that we have a couple ways and a couple things we can do. Right? We clearly have what looks to be like a rocketry setup going on up here. Advanced rocketry is probably what this section is going to be about. But I'm hesitant to jump out into exploring outer space before I really have my base super in order. And downstairs is working pretty well, to be fair. It's not terrible. I'm actually quite proud of how well things are going. But I definitely need to get my house in order, just a little bit. It's a little bit of a mess. You can see I'm processing more aluminum dust, which is cool. Having fun doing that. I should probably get my advanced centrifuge. That's this dude. I should do a similar chest setup for him, so that I can just kind of, you know, dump all that stuff in there and get it all centrifuged all in one go. So I kind of have one of those upstairs, but the advanced centrifuge is faster. So you can see we've got a lot of like manually / automated ways of doing things, right? So you're going to extract and then you're going to insert. So I processed a bunch of aluminum that I mined between episodes. What else did I do between episodes? Not a whole heck of a lot. I got water mills from extra utilities, right? So we've got a little bit of EU power going on, but I don't know how much of that we're going to need. We'll find out as time goes by. But we don't have the wireless power transfer thingy from extra utilities, which is kind of a bummer, right? So that's what's up. So give me all that stuff along with you. See all the stone dust we got from this? That can turn into silicon eventually, but you're going to get my impure piles of rutile dust, right? Or aluminum dust, and that's going to make aluminum dust and some of that stuff. Cool? So lots of processing, semi-automated at this point, semi-automated. Not super automated, but semi-automated, right? When I find that I need a resource, I go and process it in bulk, and usually just let it sit for a bit, and then it comes back. So yes, let's get into what we need here. So we're going to totally need a distillation tower. We're going to need a fluid input hatch. We're going to probably need an energy input hatch. Output bus. And these are all LV? Really? Okay. Fluid output hatch, LV. Clean stainless steel casings. Is that everything then? That's not too bad looking. That's not bad at all. So a lot of you guys need LV machine holes. Have we taught anything LV related? Like we have some LV stuff, but I don't think we have any auto crafting around LV, right? We have a few components from LV, but we don't have any auto crafting. So I think at the very least, we should teach you how to do LV machine holes because it shouldn't be hard, right? We should have mostly everything that we need. The assembler can go in there, right? That should be fine. That should be fine. I hope. We just remove that dude and we're cool. Good deal. So like the same place that the MV hull is where we're gonna put you. Wherever that would be. So like this guy gets the LV machine hull, just like that one gets the MV hull. And then the assembler that does, yeah. I think we need to go choose the right assembler back here. I think it's ultimately... Didn't I have a second assembler ready to go? This one, yes. Yes, this is how it goes. Okay, got it. Nice. I really need to get that place sorted out a little bit. Just a little bit. But that will get me the LV machine casings and holes that I need. So ultimately, I need one MV. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4 LVs. Cool. And those are actually... that's interesting. We need an MV input hatch? All right, hold on. So we need 1, 2 MV, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4 LV. Okay. So LV machine holes times 4. Tin cable. You don't know how to make tin cable? Because that's a simple one. I'm not gonna use an assembler slot for that. If I can do it by hand, then cool. Do you know how to make tin wire? Nope, but you're about to learn. See, this is why we need auto crafting. Makes life easier. All right, so wiry dudes, they were at the bottom, weren't they? Wow, I'm getting low. I really need to be prepared for the amount of auto crafting I'm gonna have to do with some of these machines. It's a little bit shenanigans. Cool. And I'm gonna do the rest of the crafting off camera now, so we'll be back when all this is done. The only one that's like probably gonna be a little bit tricky is this, but stainless steel plates, how many do I need? 36, right? Because I need 18 of those. Yeah, so 36 stainless steel plates, which might be a little bit faster in here. We get 3 at a time, we get 3 at a time. These use that. It doesn't matter, it's the same. Same recipes, just does or does not use the hammer and the wrench. So I think we've got stainless steel plates, which we can get 36 of. Yay on autocraft. And then the steel frames, I'm assuming one of these is Okay, cool. So I should probably teach steel frames because I think we need stainless steel frames for a lot of things, I think. Or am I crazy? Meh. Not too bad, actually. Do I want to bother wasting my time teaching that? I don't know. Well, I need how many of those? 1 becomes 3. Right? So I need 6 of them. Right? So I need 2 sets of these. Unless that you get more. No, you don't. So I need 2 sets of these. So I need 6 more stainless steel plates, and I need 10 rods. Cool. Back in a few. All right, guys, a little bit of crafting later, and we're good to go, right? So the pumps, they are always a hassle to craft. I should really get around to automating these. They require soldering alloy, but that doesn't seem too bad to make. Did I do anything with you yet? Not yet. This falls under the category of need to get my house in order, right? Like my base is a little bit organically grown already, and it's going to only become a problem and become more worse is what it's going to be. It's going to be more worse. So what I'm like trying to formulate in my brain, like how do I get this all to work, right? So there's a few things we could probably come up with. We could have like rows of machines down here. Is one concept that I've got in my brain, right? So we could have like multiple rows of machines for the different types. So like we know we're going to need a handful of assembly machines. We know we need a handful of precision laser engravers, right? Like some of these things have these chips in them, right? Or some of them have like different laser lenses, right? So we could come up with a couple ways to approach this, right? Like this guy's a good example. There's a lot of extruder recipes, but they all have different shapes, right? And I've been doing some of them by hand because I haven't yet automated some of the shapes that we need, right? So some things we only need one machine of, right? Like I don't know that I'm ever going to need another mixer until I get to a higher tier mixer, right? I might need a higher tier mixer at some point, but never, you know, multiple MV mixers, right? So there's stuff and things, right, that like we need to think about. We need to consider these things. That reminds me, I never did get more lithium dust in here, did I? I should probably handle that. It's not important. Just a nice to have, right? Booyah. What is it, 16 lithium dust that we're supposed to be putting in here? Yeah. So I need a couple more lithium dust, but this will at least get me another HV battery. So I'm kind of envisioning in my head, like, how does this work, right? Because just having it all against one wall isn't going to work. So like rows in the middle of the room, that feels like a pretty good idea, right? So kind of like, basically kind of like this was, but then like another row here, and then another row here, and just straight across. And we could just come up with ways that could work. Not entirely sure, but something I've been toying with in my head, like how do we make this work? Impure pile of lithium dust, huh? What do? You smelt into lithium ingots, so that's cool. Or we can do that. Neat. I like that. Centrifuge that for me, would you, buddy? That gets me a little bit more lithium, right? Enough to take care of that, and who knows what else. I think I bought some lithium ore at some point, yeah. And then I macerated, that's why we had a stack of that stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably what I did. So, but hey, anyway, we've got the distillation tower components necessary. So why don't we see what's up with that, right? So I'm thinking that one should be outside. I'm thinking there's definitely going to be some outside builds going on in this series because, like, we're not going to build a rocket ship in our basement, right? That's probably not going to happen. We're probably not going to build a distillation tower in our basement either because it can be however many blocks tall is way taller than our basement is. So my plan is to build this stuff and do our thing. So you guys go in there, start charging up. We should be goodish on power. Right? And like out here could be where my distillation tower is. Does that sound like a good time? How do we all feel about that? So clearly we have a little bit of a mess out here, right? But that's okay. Where's my hammer? Not terrible, right? A little bit of terraforming later. All right, so now at least we know what we're working with, right? In terms of where my basement is and all that good stuff. And we've got enough gray terracotta. I'm pretty sure you're disabled. Yeah, you are. Good. So I'm thinking we build the distillation tower out here, right? We could probably chop down all this mess that we have. Let's turn this on, actually, and cut down these trees. Because I might want to move this tree farm elsewhere. Yay! And you were apparently some kind of mining cave at some point, I assume. What were you for? I assume you mined? Oh yeah, look at that. I found ruby and redstone down here. I don't even remember doing this. Was this like one of the first ones I found? Oil, sands, and coal. Neat. I don't even remember doing that. To be fair, it's episode 30 already. So, you know, got that going for us. So I don't want to go too far with this because he does need power, right? But he has an MV energy input. So we want to tap into that yellow line for sure, right? Like that's where we're going to want to tap into. I wouldn't mind the yellow paint can just to be extra safe. Where's that yellow spray painty stuff? There you are. Cool. And give me some of that 4x energetic we got going on. So we will try, as long as we don't like touch any blue cables, we should be cool here. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so now we want to get our distillation tower, right? So let's get this multi-block looking cool, right? So I think like with everything, right, we can have as many clean stainless steel casings as we want, right? I don't know that the fluid output hatches have to go here, right? We have an output bus. We have a bunch of fluid output hatches. Do we have any kind of input bus anywhere? I'm not seeing one on this design, but that's okay. We know how to build it, right? Is the center hollow? It is. Cool. Fluid output hatch. EV, huh? I don't know about that. So you're going to connect up to here. So what I'm thinking is we could start with the MV hatch right here. Fluid output, output bus, fluid input. That's going to be an important one. What we could have is just the output hatches going like that. The output bus could be here. And then the input bus could go here. Because I basically would want everything as close to that wall as possible so that we can interact with it better, right? And then you guys just fill the gap. Now what am I missing? Because I thought this was enough to do the thing. I thought I had enough ingredients, quest. I did that, I did that, I did that. 2 fluid output hatches. Right, energy input hatch. Why did I lose, where did I lose 2 stainless steel casings at? With a hollow center, the controller goes center front of the bottom layer with the fluid input hatch in the middle of the bottom layer. An output bus and an energy input hatch are also needed on the bottom level. And each level above that is a ring of 7 stainless steel casings, 1 fluid output, and nothing in the center except for the topmost layer, which needs another casing to fill the center. Let me try that again. So the quest book said I should have the fluid input hatch in the middle, right? Output bus, output hatch, energy input, output hatch. That should be pretty good, right? Am I crazy here? It's a 3x3, yes? Yeah, we're definitely missing like 2 more of these things. Let's come back in a sec. All right, guys, so here's what I decided. I might as well make this thing bigger from the get-go. And it does look like the quest doesn't give you enough to build the tower it wants. You need 2 more, unless my math is off. So let's start this guy right. Correct? So that's what I'm thinking. So fluid input hatch, you can go in the middle there. So we'll pipe fluid into the bottom center of this thing, right? You're going to go here, Buster, right? We're going to have fluid output hatches that we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall. Does that sound cool? I don't know if we're going to need that. We're going to probably need a lot more stainless steel than I made, but It's all good. I can make more stainless steel. I'll have to do it off camera if I really want to, right? So I'll have the output bus here, right? And then the rest is just this, right? Am I missing anything? Fluid input, output bus, fluid input, output bus, and then the fluid output hatches and the energy hatch, right? And then just this. Cool. But once I place a few of these, then I'll know how many more of these I need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. So just 6 more? Is that it? I think so. That ain't so bad. So let me get 6 more of those dudes. How are we for stainless steel? Yeah, how many of these do we make per doohickey? It's 3, so I need 12 more? Yes. 12 more plates, and then we should be good. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. And that'll give us a much taller tower, so that, which I think, like, my purpose here is, like, let's get away from just relying on lava for power, right? If we can get some fuel-based power, then we will be in far better shape, and then we'll be, you know, ready to roll. And that would be cool. And then, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll see what happens. Clearly, there's a lot of crazy shenanigans coming in the future, so every time I've advanced, I've been like, wow, that uses a lot of power. So I'm trying to be ahead of the game on it this time. Plus, there's only so long that lava power can last, right? Only so long. So I think that should be a valid structure. Nope, invalid structure. Why? Why are you invalid? Why would you be invalid, stainless steel structure, dude? You're all clear throughout. So let's see if this guy has any hints, right? So we've got the distillation tower, we've got the output buses, right? We've got the clean stainless steel housing all around it, right? We've got the energy input hatch. Fluid input hatch. Yeah, this should be pretty cool. You don't suppose that, like, these things have to be... It says I can use LV for the energy, or for the fluid inputs, right? So fluid output hatch, fluid input hatch, that's allowed to be LV. It says in the diagram here that the multi-block pattern is EV, but I can't imagine that's really necessary, right? I hope not, because I don't think we've done EV yet. We haven't touched EV yet. So let me play a little bit and see what you don't like. Hey, got it going. Okay, so here's the deal. Figured it out. Figured it out. Not terrible. Got it. Cool. So you need the fluid input to be in the center. That definitely has to be in the center. Then you need the output bus here, and above it has to be the output hatches. So you can't have 5 output hatches here. You can have 4 output hatches here. Okay. So if I made 5 more cleanly stainless steel casings, that'd be cool to get another level, I think, right? But maybe 6 more, probably. Yeah, 6 more would be another level. We'll hold off for now, but we've got that quest complete, right? So that was the main goal here, was getting that quest complete and figuring out what we need to do with it all. I suspect we're gonna have more need for fluid inputs and other things happening pretty soon on that fluid terminal, but we'll get to that, right? We'll get there. For now, we got that thing taken care of. Cool. All right. So that probably unlocked a few things for us, right? Mid-game wise, specifically navigating petrochem, right? It's very, very easy to get overwhelmed by all the petrochemical stuff in GregTech, but doing the basics isn't very difficult with a little bit of guidance. There are 3 types of oil that you'll find: heavy, raw, and light. Raw oil, sometimes just called oil in JEI, is something you can think of as a medium oil. It is a good starting point for fuel because it contains the ingredients for fuel in roughly the correct ratios. The next few casts will discuss how to turn raw oil into fuel. Once you've mastered that, feel free to explore petrochem mechanics more with the basics down. There's no correct way to do these things in the end, and you can potentially power your base in dozens of different ways. Neat. I'll try that. Okay. Whoa, okay, that unlocked a lot. That unlocked a lot of stuff, didn't it? The other thing would be an oil drilling rig. If you don't like the idea of mining out oil sand veins, you can build an oil drilling rig. You'll need to provide it with power, drilling fluid, and a steady supply of pipes. The pipes only have a 1% chance to have one be used up per bucket. Okay, cool. That don't look so bad. Ah, so it's one of those modular machines. Cool. We might want to check that out. But I think we've got oil sand, right? We've got a what I would call a healthy amount of oil sand stuff. Yeah, so we've got oil sands ore for sure. I have no idea how rare that stuff is, but I feel like I've seen it a lot. I feel like I've seen a lot of oil sands ore in my day. So we want to keep an eye on that. But we can definitely check out the oil drilling rig at some point. So that looks cool. So start off by running the raw oil through the distillation tower. This will result in you obtaining sulfuric heavy fuel, sulfuric light fuel, sulfuric naphtha, and sulfuric gas. Right. So we made 4 outputs, right? So that means that we should be good to get all 4 of those out of our rig, which would be cool, right? You'll need to come up with a system to sort and store these liquids, whether it's manual handheld tanks, a system, or multi-block tanks, or digital fluid storage. I think it's going to be the latter. So what I'm going to do is get some 1K fluid storage cells, and I think it's about time you learn how to make those bad boys, right? So why don't you do that? So you should be cool to do that. Do I want to teach you to use like the doubling seeds, or does it really not matter? I feel like it probably doesn't matter. So yeah, that's what we'll stick with. We'll stick with that without the doubling thing, right? So we're going to want 1K ME fluid storage cells. We're going to want 4 of those, right? 1 for each liquid type, you think? I thought I taught you logic processors. Did I not? Did I not teach you logic processors? I guess I didn't. Let me take care of that off camera real quick. It's this one? No, this is the third. That's the one I want, right? But we want a gold plate. Do you not know how to make gold plates? Please. I haven't gotten there yet. You into the plate maker. Plate maker, plate maker. Make me a plate. Cool. And then a silicon plate, right? Taking care of gold plate, taking care of silicon plate, and then you are the 3rd tier 3 circuit, but instead of that, we're going to do that and that. And then you go in there. Cool. So I'm going to want 4 of those. Nice. And then we're also going to want housings times 4. Cool. So you're making your logic processors. You're pretty quickly making your housings. We just need electrical steel and red alloy wire, and that should be cool. All right, so with that cooking and getting ready, where do we get oil buckets from? That's the next question. I assume it's oil sands. The quest didn't really specifically say, though, did it? I don't think it did. So let's find out what oil sands make. You can smelt into oil sands dust, or you can pulverize into that stuff. Oil sands can be electrolyzed into oil. Okay, well, that's pretty straightforward. That ain't bad. Now, if I pulverize you, you will turn into oil sands dust at a 14% chance and crushed oil sands, which then can be pulverized again into impure and an oil sands dust, which can then be centrifuged into some more oil sands dust. So I feel like that's probably the right path of action, right? And then we centrifuge you into the liquid, and then we're cool. So do I want to store oil in here or no? That's the ultimate question, right? Do we want to store oil in here or no, right? So that should be a pretty quick process. I mean, not that quick, but quicker than MV, right? So you're going to get the crushed oil sands ore. And the cool thing about this is once it's done processing all the oil sands ore, it usually grabs the crushed one and processes that too. So we just let that run for a few minutes and we'll be good. But while we're waiting, let's just get this and throw you into this macerator so that you're ready to make that. And then we'll get the rest of it in a minute. So if we come over here and see you 4, right, we should have 4 of you. Now, do I want to store oil sands in our system? Because there's 2 things we could do here. We could either store oil in the system, or we could just store the dust and have like the oil be routed directly into the machine without it being stored so that it backstuffs. And I feel like that's probably the better approach. So these 4 cells will be the outputs of the oil, but the oil itself won't get stored in the ME system. Does that sound like a good deal? So we've got our oil sands, right? You should be done with you, so you can centrifuge that dude. And that looks pretty nice. It's funny that this still happens. And I don't know why, because I have a dense energy cell sitting here. I made that between episodes at one point. I forget if I mentioned it, but I did. So now you know. Needs more food. Cool. Alright, so you should be getting pretty close to oil sands dust. Wow, you're pretty slow though. That's alright. We don't need a lot of this stuff for the initial, I hope. And then we wanted to do what with you? Electrolyze you into oil? What's that require RF-wise? 30? Okay, cool. So you should be pretty quick in my advanced electrolyzer, right? And let's get a tank for the oil. Nice. That's not too bad. That ain't bad at all. Take a quick nap. Don't need any zombies sneaking up on me while we're setting this stuff up. So I'm not exactly sure what the ratios are going to look like. I assume, though, that I'll find out pretty quickly, or I could just look at it in JI. But let's get surprised by how this works. Right, so I'm going to set you to output on the top. And then if we come over to this dude, he's running perfectly. Nice. But you're not giving me any details about how well and how perfect you're running. He's nice and quick, though. Gotta give him props for that. I don't see any details about what's stored in him, though. So I'm assuming these guys will give me some info, right? Okay, not terrible. So we are getting all 4 kinds, right? That's cool. So you centrifuge into this kind of oil, which you can be distilled directly into that, depending on the different types of circuits we use, but the distillation tower gets me all 4, which is cool. So those are your ratios, which look pretty good. All right, neat. Did I get a bucket's worth of each yet? I did not. So we're gonna need at least 2 more oil sands, which shouldn't be a problem. How we doing, kids? You're still cooking, but you're almost done. I don't know how you turned into a shovel. I must have clicked something funny. Good. Good. And then you can convert into more of you. So that'll be 6 more buckets of oil sand, right? And you're not terribly slow. But we need 2 more to get a bucket's worth of each so we can program our fluid storage cell guys, right? Because that's the main focus for me right now, and then we gotta probably wrap up the episode at that point. Nice. So just for clarification, how much do you process at a time? Alright, so each iteration processes 50 millibuckets. So it's fast, but like 50 millibuckets at a time ain't a lot. So it's fast, but it ain't that fast. But you can see I've got my 4 buckets here ready to go. So give me a fluid amount of you. Ah, what's happening? I didn't want that to happen. What just happened? Anybody know what just happened there? Okay, cool. Weirdness. Weirdness is what happened. In, out. Okay, cool. Why do you have 2 in you? Right, okay, so that's your naphtha, that's your gas. That's your light fuel. And that's your heavy fuel. Cool. So then in here, thanks, buddy. We should be able to program each of you, right? So you're going to be that guy. You're going to be this guy. Do what now? Naphtha. Okay. So you're going to be naphtha. You're going to be light fuel. You're going to be heavy fuel. And you're going to be gas. Do we really need to do this? No. We're figuring it out. We're doing it live. All right, so then we should be able to come up here. Cool. And then you guys should be cool. Now, is there a fluid interface? There is. So I think I would like one of these. We need an MV pump, which is a hassle to make, as we know. And I should really, I think between episodes, I might automate this guy. Because these guys are just a hassle to make. There's so many steps involved. It's rough. It's tough. What you gonna do? We'll make it happen, though. So I think between episodes, I do that. Because what I'm thinking we could just do is ender conduits. Rather than a bunch of ME import buses, because we could do 4 ME import buses. That would also work. They would probably be a little bit easier to make right now. And it's not like we have to worry about, you know, stuff and things, right? Do we have any annihilation cores? We could craft 3 of them. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, let's do that. An electric piston MV. And I believe it was the cutting saw. Yep. That's not too bad. I'll just do it this way, right? It works. 2. Where's my other pistons? There they are. 4. Right. So what we could do is just straight up the line here. And then you guys. And then this dude. Which I probably have a connector somewhere to make this happen. Right? Dire wire for days. Cool. Let me come over and check this guy out. And we've got the fluids showing up. Nice. Okay. That's not terrible. So what we use these for? Oh. Figure it out, I guess, right? So that claims all those dudes, right? Cool. Neat. So these things are not too hard to make. You know what is tricky to make, though? Those drives. So we might want to be cognizant of how expensive they are, though not bad once you get the hang of it. I think a majority of this stuff is auto-craftable at this point by me. Like, I did MV sensors and that stuff, right? I did. So the drives should not be hard to auto-craft. That seems very reasonable. I can do that. I can auto-craft MV drives. It's a lot of steps, but it ain't bad. Dark steel, I can teach you how to make that. That's not bad, because that's obsidian or void crystals. Yeah. So a little bit of work to do between episodes, but I'm going to wrap up here. We'll come back next time, and we will continue to explore this fluid mechanics thing so that we have access to better power. And then there's also canola presses, right? One of the easier ways to start getting biodiesel is the canola press. It uses RF power, unlike everything else in this area of the quest tree. Canola oil can be burned for more RF power in an oil generator or fermented in a canola oil or all that stuff, right? So we'll figure that out. For now, though, 20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.